Francesco.
Thank you. Just a couple of words to introduce myself. I'm the founder and former CEO of a company, Biotech, which I founded in 2002. The company went public in Switzerland in 2006. And since a few months, I'm working on a new entrepreneurial project, which is a bit too early to talk. And so I'm currently fundraising, actually, for the new program. So what I actually thought is to talk about the difference between 2002, when I started BioXcel, and today, when I'm fundraising for a new program. And I hope it will not be too pessimistic at the end of my talk. Now, I will start with the good things. And the good thing is that if you work in the healthcare, in biotech, in the biotech biopharma business, the good thing is that big pharma are still in need of products. Clearly, big pharmas are under pressures on multiple fronts. The well-known are that major patents are expiring. There is price pressure from different governments. The less well-known are that for some therapeutic areas, patients are treated very well. There are so many drugs available that it's not wise to step into one of these therapeutic areas, especially for young biotech, unless you have a real revolutionary and innovative program. Now, as compared with 2002, when we started BioXcel, things are getting certainly more difficult. I think definitely the low-hanging fruits are gone. For big pharmas, acute indications are not very profitable. Yes, it's true that blockbusters indications still exist, but thanks to pharmacogenomics now, there have been some segmentations so that, again, for a big pharma, the question mark is whether now this niche market is sufficiently interested from a development point of view. But in my view, the most dramatic change that we have seen is really in the clinical and regulatory environment. This is in part due to the big accident of Vioxx, but it is certainly much more difficult to develop a drug today than it was 10 years ago. There are certain areas where, like a metabolic disease, for example, that the number of patients required is so large that it's simply impossible to enter for a young company with limited resources. Now, yes, again, pharma large biotechs are keen to piggyback, but doing Victor Kiam, for the one of you who are not familiar with Victor Kiam was the entrepreneur who actually got the presents from his wife, Remington, an electric razor, and he was so enthusiastic about this new electric razors that I actually went on and bought Remington and ran Remington as a successful CEO. So the concept we had 10 years ago was that to buy a company is cheaper than in license. This is not true any longer. Pharma companies really like to in-license companies. This is clearly the favored options, and they will only consider to buy the company if there is no other ways to acquire the products. And obviously, because there are so many, due to the crisis, the biotech crisis, there are so good products actually available on the markets, part from the pipelines of the large companies, part from the pipelines of the biotech that are facing the financial crisis. They are in the driving seat, and so they will tend to pay little money with milestones as backloaded as possible. That's the current climate for biotech. Now, what has become very interesting today that we didn't have 10 years ago is the corporate ventures. What are the corporate ventures? So many pharma companies are actually trying to set up sort of venture capital funds, which is very interesting for pharma companies because, in fact, it allows the pharma to monitor progress of the companies intimately. And ultimately, I think for the pharma companies, it could be cheaper to, to get into these opportunities because they have the opportunities to monitor these opportunities earlier than other people. I'm currently sitting on the board, for example, of a very interesting Italian company developing vaccines. It's a company in Rome called Kairos. And in addition to venture capitals, the company was founded by a corporate venture from Novartis. And clearly Novartis is playing a very interesting role in actually driving the success of this company. Now, the bad thing is that unfortunately, when I started BioCells 10 years ago, if I compare the numbers of